Welcome back, folks. This is JE Live. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and we're here after another Rams loss. Stop me if you've heard that before, because you've heard it 6 straight times. Before we get into it, I'd ask that you subscribe, like, comment, do all that stuff. Man, that game was absolutely crushing, depressing. It was a lot of fun, but just the way it ended, just brutal ending. Yeah, I don't really know what more to describe it with. I mean, I feel like the Rams outplayed Seattle. I know the stats won't indicate that, but they also play completely different defensive philosophies and everything. So, I would argue the 171 rushing yards was really impressive from the Rams. I think John Wolford definitely let some plays that he missed. They left some plays on the field. I mean, I thought Tutu Atwell looked great. They didn't really use him as much as he should have been. I mean, only 5 targets his way. I think he led the team, or he was tied with Tyler Higbee, who only caught 2 as well. But yeah, it was it was fun to see the ball move and move the ball downfield. But you just can't kick field goals like that. You need to score when you get in the red area, and that's what Seattle did. And yeah, it sucks. It really does. That's the official end of the season, I believe. I think the Rams are eliminated after that. I mean, mathematically, maybe that's not correct. I'll tell you right now. Let's see here. So, we got the playoff prediction or playoff odds. Yeah, I mean, I think they're pretty much done, but it's worth looking up the exact percentage. I'm just brutal. So they have a 0.1% chance of making the playoffs if they beat Vegas. That does not change that. If they beat Green Bay, that does not change that. So pretty much, in order to have, a losing record, make the playoffs, they need all hell to break loose. They need the Eagles to beat the Giants. If the Giants beat the Eagles, the Rams, I guess, are still somehow in it. Yeah, this is just brutal. Like, just looking at this, I mean, yeah, they need a lot to go their way. Even if they were to win out, like, say they win out right now, that would give them, without any games happening except for the ones that they play, that would put them at a 1% chance of making the playoffs. So, I mean, that's if they win out. They need a ton of help. It goes up to it is a 1% chance with all that. So, the point is, I know mathematically the season's still alive, but let's be honest here. Today was their last chance. If you're one of those optimists who was like just holding out hope and had some belief, I get it. They've been in every game this year, and today was no different. But I hate to break it to you, because normally I'm the glass half full type of guy. This season's over. It's over. Like, I'm ready for 2023. It's absolutely over. Now, can you still enjoy these games? Yes. And I feel like I did that today. I think it was cool that they got the run game going a little bit. They ran with Cam Akers a lot. I don't really know why. They didn't really, use Kyron Williams. I mean, only 3 carries for 9 yards. That was a little bit, I had a bone to pick with that. John Wolford played in moments. He looked decent. Other moments, not so much. That arm strength clearly was lacking. And like I said earlier, he missed Tutu Atwell streaking down the field wide open. Probably missed him again at the end. I still think there are some issues, Darion Kendrick with the tackling, with the coverage that led up to that play, with DK Metcalf beating Ramsey on the slant. I feel like that really set them up. When Kendrick gave up that play, that was it. So I don't really know, why I don't know why he's in there. Darion Kendrick has a long way to go. He still has a lot of time because he's a rookie 6th round pick, but I don't know why he's getting so much run. I just don't. I thought Scott had some moments. I thought Wagner was phenomenal. He would probably be the player of the game. 2 sacks, going out and getting 3 stops behind the line of scrimmage, and then, of course, coming away with that interception. Just really good day for him. I thought aside from that moment, I thought Jalen played well. Obviously, he would like that back. Jacoby Durant finally got in and, was able to have a huge pass breakup. I don't know why it took so long for him to play, but it did. You had 2 sacks also from Michael Hoyt, one of them being a strip sack. He was huge today and continues to show you that, what we talk about in this channel, how, the Rams can use this time, playing these meaningless games. They can find their Sebastian Joseph Days, their Greg Gaines. They can find a Nick Scott, guys that can contribute next season. And I feel like they've found that in Michael Hoyt. He is going to be very important for them in that interior. He can play interior. He can play on the outside. I think he definitely adds another element to their pass rush. And he had a really good day today. That's a really good sign to see that about, Michael Hoyt. I really like seeing that. Definitely like seeing Michael Hoyt getting involved. Saw Russ Yeast a little bit. So, they got some of the young guys. Marquise Copeland had a really nice stop where, he basically went sideline to sideline. And, you love to see that. I thought Jonah Williams played well. I thought Taylor Rapp played well, except they had to give up one of the timeouts because he was completely out of position. But aside from that, I thought he was pretty solid. Had a nice key pass breakup. He actually had 2, but he had a really nice key pass breakup in the end zone. Bottom line is the Rams should have won this game. If I'm being real, the Rams should have won this game, even though they were playing half their starting lineup. They absolutely should have won this game. I thought they were the better team today. I thought they did a nice job of, basically squeezing Seattle and getting pressure on Geno Smith. And Geno played a really good game too, but, forcing some turnovers on him was huge. And, just not having the running backs, like, to lose is just so painful. But to lose to a team that had, like, no running backs to speak of is another level. So, yeah, it's a tough loss. And, I think moving forward, whether that's the Thursday night game with the Raiders or the Monday night game against the Packers, or if that Sunday night game stays Sunday night, I do not expect it to. I think that'll be flexed. But if they don't flex the battle for LA, then, I look forward to watching that and just taking it like it is. This is an opportunity for the young guys to get in there and, see what you have. What I would suggest to Sean McVay is you use Kyron Williams more. He's a 5th round running back who you trade up to get. We know what Cam Akers is, and we don't know what Kyron Williams is. So I want to see more about Kyron Williams. I like the way they use Powell, but I really want to keep, seeing the way they used Atwell today. I want to, extend that. Should have more than 5 targets. I'd be getting that guy 10 touches a game. He may not be Tyreek Hill, but there's no reason why he couldn't be. And we learned that today. I know it's early, but there's no reason why he couldn't end up being like Marquise Brown. No reason. I think he's got better hands, if I'm being honest. So there's no reason why he can't be that dynamic playmaker. They got Van Jefferson involved. Not a ton. The pass game wasn't entirely there. No one went off, so to speak. Atwell was the leading receiver with 48 yards on 2 catches. Tyler Higbee, I don't know what's going on there. Like, he's starting to fall off, it feels like. He slipped on a play where he probably should have had a touchdown. I don't know. It just feels weird with him right now, so I'm not really sure, what's going on with that. As far as Raheem Morris's scheme goes, I know a lot of people are upset with the way that was handled and, the ending of that. Look, I'm not going to sit here and just defend Raheem for no reason. I believe he's done a good job this year, considering the fact he's gone through a lot of injuries and whatnot. But in this moment, no, I don't think the defense, they did not execute. Okay. It's that simple. To give up a touchdown there, it's just not acceptable. It's not excusable. It shouldn't happen. I mean, they had to go the full length of the field, and I don't know. I just, for me, wasn't a fan of the way that they ended that game. I think that they definitely could have ended that on a stronger note. I thought the defense had some spurts where they looked really good, and towards the end of this game, it kind of felt more like Tampa, where maybe they were gassed, maybe they weren't. They didn't play as much as they did with Tampa. It's just it's brutal. It really is to lose a game like this. Even though this team's 3-8, they were still in the playoff race. They were still alive, and to lose this game the way they did, I don't think many people were giving them a shot. I thought that they would lose 24-16. They lose 27-23. So closer game than I anticipated. But after watching the results, watching how they got to the result, it makes me upset because I feel like the Rams absolutely deserved to win this game, and they just blew it. I mean, they fumbled the bag essentially. Just really disappointing there. As far as that goes, I don't know how you play John Wolford next week or, on Thursday. To me, that has to be Bryce Perkins. You're out of the playoff race, barring a miracle. And let's be honest here, miracle is not happening. If you could watch two games at once like I was, I'm watching the Rams game, and then on the side TV, I have the 49ers and Dolphins game showing up on Red Zone. And I swear to you, the Rams would drop an interception or they'd throw an interception, and, corner would make a perfect catch, all of that. Down the other screen, the 49ers would throw what looked like a pick. Guy would bobble it 5 times and drop it. Or the opposite, where, Tua throws a nice pass and it botches off their hand and then gets picked off. Yeah, today was brutal, on all fronts. And it's just been a year of almost, right? There's a lot of almost wins, but those don't count for anything. I thought we were going to get overtime, to be honest with you, and then they went down the field and scored. So, I don't know. I mean, I thought they were going to play for overtime, and this is another reason why I think Pete Carroll is underrated. I think Pete Carroll's a very good coach, and I think Pete Carroll doesn't get enough credit. He's 7-5 with this squad. No one counted this squad no one looked at this squad as a team that could compete and could be in the playoffs. And here we are. They're 7-5, 4-3 on the road, and they have a chance to, represent the NFC, in the playoffs. So the NFC West. So, I mean, look, am I upset? Absolutely. But I appreciate the heart. Once again, I saw a team with fire. I saw a team that really wanted to win. This didn't feel like they mailed it in. This didn't feel like they gave up. At no point did it feel like they gave up. Just feels like they got, outplayed. They got beaten on the last drive. But all in all, I thought the Rams outplayed them 98% of the game. That's just how I feel. Some big explosive plays they gave up. I think, when you look, obviously the defense is going to be sloppy when you consider the fact there's all these different moving pieces. And, now you have Russ Yeast playing, and now you have Michael Hoyt at, outside linebacker. And I don't know, there's just a lot of different things to take into account. But again, I think we saw a team that's hungry for a win. And whether they get that Thursday night or not really doesn't matter. I'm going to continue to cover them. I'm not going to give up on this team. They'll be back next year. I have no doubt about it. And I think if anybody is going to right the ship, it's going to be Sean McVay next year. I think he is absolutely the guy up for the challenge. This is the guy that took the 2016 Rams from 4-12, as Todd Gurley depicted, high school offense, and turned them into one of the top offenses in football for the next 2 years, before then having his offense figured out. Then 2019 kind of struggling, missing the playoffs despite going 9-7. And then 2020, offense still not really figured out, but makes the playoffs, wins a playoff game, goes on divisional round, and then the next year they win the Super Bowl. Sean McVay has been challenged before. This is his biggest challenge, no doubt about it. He's never, he just clinched a losing record for the first time in his career. He just has to do it one more time, and he'll tie Kyle Shanahan. But I just feel like the way Sean McVay has handled his career as the Rams head coach, it leads you to believe that, look, this guy has a chance. Like, he really has a chance to turn this around. It's not easy, and it's frustrating, but I would not be surprised if this team is right back in the thick of things next year. And by the thick of things, I mean one of the top teams in the NFC. I just think at the end of the day, this team is going to be playing a last place schedule in all likelihood, at least third to last if they're able to pass Arizona. I think this team has talent. I think this team has, obviously they have some core pieces. They have a good coaching staff. I think they need to do some tinkering. They might lose a Thomas Brown, their assistant head coach, tight ends coach, helping also with the running backs. They might lose him to a head coaching job. Would not be surprised if they do. They might lose Raheem Morris because of the compensatory picks. As you guys know, you would have 2 third-round picks this year if that were to happen. But the bottom line is they could lose guys this offseason. I think Cohen does get let go, or he gets demoted to stay on board. And, I think that there's a chance that, you're looking at Thomas Brown as the OC, or maybe even, guys also in-house, like a Jay Gruden, maybe a Zach Robinson, guys like that. But if not, I'm looking at Cliff Kingsbury as the offensive coordinator, I would say, to take over. I think he's going to get let go by the Cardinals, and I think that would be potentially the move since he's friends with Sean McVay. And as far as the defense goes, I'm keeping an eye on Jim Leonhard, who, is likely going to be leaving Wisconsin because he was the interim head coach and he wanted to be there, and they hired Fickell from Cincinnati. So he's pretty much out. I don't know. A lot of different things to cover, and I will be doing that throughout the week and onward. But, we're going to see a little bit of a shift in the channel. The season's officially over, okay? They're not making the playoffs. There's no, there's a miracle. This miracle ain't happening, okay? Maybe another team. This isn't happening for the Rams. They're not getting in with a 0.1% chance of making the playoffs. It's just not happening. They need teams to tie. They need teams to win. They need teams to lose. It's not happening. I'm not going to really try to follow it. There's way too much going on. So we move on. I will be looking at draft prospects this week. Yep, I know it's a little bit early, but we'll be doing that. Alexis and I will interview draft prospects again, so look out for that this upcoming year. We're in December, so we're almost done with 2022, and it's been a year. In the same year that the Rams won the Super Bowl, calendar year, in the same year, they also have had this debacle. So, Alexis, I see you wrote Jimmy G broke his foot and is out for the rest of the season. I feel bad for Jimmy G. I hate injuries. Today sucked. Let's be honest here. Sucked for my fantasy team, but teams and bets. But I would say it sucked in general. I hate injuries no matter who it is, and just to see Lamar Jackson, who is one of the most talented quarterbacks in football, go down with a knee injury, in a contract year, it was really upsetting. It makes you realize why these athletes ask for the money, and they want to sign and they want to get things done when they get them done, because you got to protect that investment. But, I think, I don't know, really, really upsetting that happened to him. I know Aaron Jones was nicked up. There's Quinnen Williams was dealing with injuries. So I just felt like there were guys getting banged up every which way. And I understand that's the NFL. You're getting later on the year. It never makes it okay, right? The injuries always suck. You always want to see everyone at full strength. There's no point. Why root for injuries? I don't know why people sometimes victory lap them. It's kind of weird. But it's tough, man. It's tough. I hope Jimmy is okay. I hope he makes a full recovery, and would not mind to see him on the Jets next year. I'll say that as somebody that covers the Jets. By the way, that game, between the Jets and the Rams, talk about heartbreak. I thought both teams deserved to win, and both teams lost near the end of the game and had shots. So, brutal stuff there. I see Stafford was reported with a spinal contusion. There's spinal cord contusion. There's no way I put him back out there. So I like the IR slot. I think there's a chance he would have been back if, this team, they ran the table and they won 4 straight and he would have been able to come back. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It sucks. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. We'll have podcasts throughout the week, as DTR and Believe in Rams. But yeah, it just absolutely sucks, to see this team where it's at right now. But just think, hey, we've already dealt with this. We've already watched this team, whether it was 2016, whether it was missing the playoffs in 2019, whether it was the same old sorry ass Rams beforehand, where they, would go 1-15 or 2-14 or 6-10, 7-9, 7-8-1, you name it. We're kind of used to it, right? It's just tough. It's tough to see this team at 3-9. It's tough to see this team 2-5 at home. And no one could have predicted this. I don't care what anyone says. No one could have predicted this. No one. Because Stafford, it's not like Stafford missed the whole year either. Like, Stafford played the majority of the season thus far. There is no way whatsoever you could have predicted the Rams to be 3-9 right now. If I told you that Stafford played the majority of the games and Cooper Kupp played the majority of the games, and so did Ramsey and so did Donald, you'd be like, well, there's no way they would have gone 3-9 with all those guys playing. So yeah, I think we can all conclude that Kevin O'Connell was a massive piece to the offense. And if you guys missed my tweet, Ian Eagle, who was calling the Jets game with Charles Davis, my buddy Charles. He was covering the Jets game, against the Vikings today. And Ian Eagle brought up something very interesting. Basically, if you guys didn't know, he said that if Kevin O'Connell did not get a head coaching job, he was basically the plan was all along to make him the primary play caller on the offensive side of the ball for the Rams if he came back. So that's interesting. I don't know if they did that with Cohen. We still have no idea what Liam Cohen does. Can only imagine he pretty much just took over, Kevin O'Connell without the intricacies, I guess. But I don't know. It's one of those things, man, where, you had the turnover. I already made a video about it, but you had the turnover with Austin Corbett and Robert Woods and Andrew Whitworth retires and Von Miller and OBJ and you lose all those guys, and then you have turnover in coaching. You have like Dwayne Stukes in addition to that. Obviously, we talked about KOC, and Ejiro Evero. There are plenty of guys. And so I think when you have all that turnover, it does affect you. It does affect you. And, I think if we learned anything this year, we need to finally realize that the Rams are not invincible, right? They're not. They can't just be the only team in the league that has figured it out. They're not the only team in the league that can do F them picks. They're not the only team in the league that can just funnel in coaches and funnel them out with head coaching jobs. This is no longer, and it probably never was, but it's run its course now. This is no longer a place where you're just like, oh, I had a cup of coffee with Sean McVay and now I'm a head coach. No, it's not that, because eventually you have to build these connections. What's lost on people is that Evero was here from 2017 on, right? O'Connell came in 2018. So these guys had experience with this team. They were on this team for a while. To lose guys like that, it makes it harder on your players. Because, think about it. Coaches coach differently, right? Coaches coach differently. So I'm not saying that has anything to do with the injuries or anything, but I am saying maybe that's part of the regression of the offense. I think this is a team that we saw today can be creative. Sean McVay can be creative in his play calling. We did see that today in spurts. But then we also saw him kind of go back to the usual. And that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. This team, very, very weird this year. Like, whatever will go wrong, whatever can go wrong will go wrong, right? So, anyway. So, yeah, I think the plan, draft coverage, I'm going to start doing draft research. If you guys want to DM me players that you want me to cover, I might do a video about each prospect. That could be freaking huge. That could be a lot of videos on the timeline, but if you guys are interested, I can literally do a profile on every player that I scout. It might not have film in it, but I might actually do that because I'm committed, as you guys know. I love doing this stuff. So we'll get into the draft earlier than ever before. Well, Caleb Williams isn't going to be a draft pick in 2023. So, he wouldn't be available, but we'll still, we'll find guys. If anybody has any, position requests or anything like that, we'll do live streams so we can do like JE lives talking about different players, doing, player Q&As, maybe watch some film together. That sounds like fun. I love doing that, but we got so busy with the channel. But really, the plans are for this channel is to keep it as down to earth as possible. I never want to go too professional to the point where you no longer see the somewhat amateur side of me, the down to earth side of me. So while my quality will continue to get better, I never want to be like full on ESPN, right? I don't want my live streams to be that way, and they never will be. I want it to be more casual and informative, and a place where I can give my humble opinion, but also like answer questions and do Q&As exactly. So yeah, this is how it's gonna go. Okay, schedule really loose. Podcast, they don't stop, they don't die. We're gonna bring in the NFL show at some point. So probably when the playoffs start, we're gonna do the NFL show weekly. Okay, it's gonna be a live show weekly, I think on Friday, and it's gonna start I think at 9, and it's gonna be 2 hours long. NFL show, right? And you guys can ask questions and stuff. Should be a blast. We'll be covering the whole NFL, and then we'll keep doing some gaming on this channel because I know a lot of people like the gaming stuff, and the gaming stuff is always Q&A. So when I'm doing that, it's just, even if you're not into gaming, if you want to ask questions, I answer questions while I game. So I feel like we have to adapt, because keep in mind, this is basically my full-time job right now. So I do need to obviously make revenue to keep doing it, right? I'd still do it without it, but I'd have to get another job. And then if I got another job, then I wouldn't have as much time to put into this as I want to, right? So because of that, I'm going to have to be making adjustments. I realize people are going to stop watching the Rams content. They're going to stop watching content about a team that no longer is in contention to make the playoffs. That's just the way it is. Not you guys, because you guys are here, but more of the casual level. And that's not to be offensive or anything, but the casual level fans that don't really get into the nitty gritty about the team. They follow this team from September until they're eliminated from the playoffs, whether that's in the Super Bowl or before they even get there. And that's it. Then they wait. They don't follow the game like you and I, right? They don't like, and again, I'm sure there are casuals that do, but the definition essentially of like the casual fan that doesn't really care too much about the nitty gritty, they're probably not going to care about the off-season moves that the Rams make. They're probably not going to care about the draft. So I have to adapt to that, right? Just being completely transparent with you guys, I have to adapt to that because I'm going to lose a lot of viewers. Not forever, but I know that based on my analytics, the pattern from doing this since 2020, at the end of 2020, I can see when the viewers start to drop off. So we're going to keep things fun. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to get subscribers, and the likes always help. So anytime you watch a video, be sure to like it. It tells YouTube that you liked it. If you don't like a video, basically YouTube doesn't have any idea like how you felt about it. So they don't like recommend it. So yeah, like basically loose schedule, podcasts, gaming streams. I mean, we got Resident Evil 4 remake coming out next year, so I'll be doing the horror streams again. I might get the Callisto project, the Callisto project protocol, I think it is. Callisto protocol. I might get that at some point, but probably we'll stick to Call of Duty Q&As, for the rest of the year. Maybe some Madden. I kind of hate the game, I'm not going to lie. And I didn't buy it because I told you I never buy another Madden game. My brother did. But but we'll have some of those, because I know people like the Q&As. The draft, we'll have a big draft show. We have it every year. We'll have another big draft show. So looking forward to that. And I'm going to try to do the draft profiles. That will be a lot of work, but I'm going to try to give it my all to do draft profiles, in that regard. So a lot of different stuff there. I'll probably stream Spider-Man when it comes out. Probably stream Hogwarts Legacy when it comes out. Now, I'm not like a massive gamer like I used to be, so this is not going to be an every week thing potentially. But when I feel like it, that's what I'll do. And really that's that. I mean, we'll have the NFL show, like I mentioned. Maybe we'll delve into the entertainment side, maybe talk a little movies and TV shows and things like that. But, it's just going to stay the same. It's going to stay the same. It's, J.K. Bogan. It's the Jake Ellenbogen channel, not Jake Ellenbogen football, not Jake Ellenbogen Rams, not Jake Ellenbogen Jets. I mean, it's literally, whatever I'm talking about. It's predominantly Rams. There's a lot of Jets stuff, but yeah, that's how I'm going to conduct my business, so to speak. So appreciate you guys for being here. Really do appreciate it. It's not as easy to come on after a loss like that. I do now have to take time to process it. Before, I think last year I was able to just jump right in, be like, oh, let's just go live, man. I don't give a shit, But now I got to process. Now I got to sit there and be like, because I am like shot, man. Like, I know people were asking me like, man, do you cry before like you come on here? Like, no, nothing like that. But just, I kind of sit there like, wow, So yeah, I mean, a lot of fun stuff. If you guys have any, comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, please send suggestions my way, because I can only do so much. That's in my head. I have different ideas made up, but you guys also have ideas. And if I can, figure out whatever, if I can, make your experience better. If you like something I did, you don't like something I did, I always look at suggestions. I've literally changed my sound because of suggestions. I've got a new camera because of suggestions. I have made a new logo, or I've done all sorts of stuff because of suggestions. I listen to you guys. So if you guys have an idea, by all means, shoot it over. My DMs are always open at JK Bogan on Twitter and Instagram. And actually, if you could do me a favor before you head on out of here, please be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't for more content. And I never ask this, but I think it's time, because Instagram is now doing monetization. And I would love it if you guys could follow me on Instagram at JK Bogan, because they're doing monetization now, and I have to get to like 10,000, followers. And I don't Instagram as well as say Twitter, right? Because Twitter, I have over 10,000. I have like 14,000 or whatever. I have 1,000 on this thing. So if you guys could, if you're on Instagram, you have an Instagram, you like me, be sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm going to start posting more short form. The link is also in the comment section there. Big Stepper Nolan just dropped it for the Discord. So please be sure to check that out. Just nonstop. It's basically a forum where it's just a live chat nonstop. I hop in there. I talk to people. It's a good time. But yeah, be sure to head on over to... be sure to head on over to my Instagram. Would really appreciate it. Again, I'm just trying to build up Instagram. I don't love the platform. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's my favorite, but I definitely want to get involved in that monetization program for doing shorts and whatnot. And so, or they call them reels. So in order for me to do that, I need to get a lot of followers, and I only have like 1,075 or whatever. So anything helps there. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. So appreciate you guys. We'll have more content throughout the week. We'll get you ready for the Thursday night football game against the Raiders. And that will be that. If you guys watch White Lotus tonight, feel free to DM me after the show. I'm glad to talk about it. It's a great show that Alexis and I both watch. So White Lotus Season 2. Okay, new episode on HBO Max every single Sunday at 9. Pretty much all I look forward to now since the Rams aren't very good. I just kid. But yeah, so that'll be what I do. But I hope everyone enjoys their night. Be sure to follow, on Instagram, subscribe on Twitter, and hit the thumbs up on Twitter. Appreciate you guys. Don't feel like you have to do anything, okay? If I ask you to do the thumbs up, I'm not begging. I would appreciate it. I'm not begging, just like the Instagram thing. Not begging. If you don't have an Instagram, don't sweat about it. Don't make an Instagram just to give me a follower. I appreciate it, but don't break your neck over it. So, again, I'm out. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. Subscribe, like, comment, and I will see you guys soon. Later, folks.